and welcome to today's digital event. Before we get started, I am going to take you on a tour of your player page and highlight some key functionality that will allow you to engage with your presenters and personalise your viewing experience. Firstly, you will notice some icons in the top right-hand corner of your screen. These icons are customisable by your organiser and can differ from event to event. Simply hover over these icons with your mouse to find out how you can ask questions, download resources, provide feedback and more. If you choose to, you can full screen your video player by clicking here. And of course, if you need any assistance, don't worry. Give our local Redback support team a call. Simply click on the help button above the player in the top right corner for our 1800 support number. Enjoy your digital event.
Kick off the event, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. We would also like to acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us or watching the session today.
Hello and welcome to our first ever virtual supply chain all-in, showcasing our Heathwood DC. Today I'm joined with Mark Ryan, who's the DC manager of Heathwood Chilled and Frozen DC. G'day Mark.
G'day Sean.
How's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Do you want to give us a run through on what we're going to talk about today?
Sure. Hi everyone. As Sean said, I'm Mark. In today's session, we'll play a short video highlighting the special features of HCF DC. We will then hand over to Mark Meshkat, who is our head of commercialisation, and then we'll hand over to our fabulous Elby. Elby is our supply specialist, and Elby will run you through why it's important to comply with the supply standards, and we'll finish with a live Q&A.
Thanks Mark. Before we get started, I just wanted to encourage everybody to make sure you're asking questions. We want the event to be as interactive as possible, so make sure you ask those questions if you've got any as you're going through the webinar. So let's get started with a video showcasing HCF DC.
On behalf of Primary Connect, we're proud to present Heathwood Chilled and Frozen Distribution Centre, HCF DC. The state-of-the-art distribution centre located at Heathwood, approximately 20 kilometres west of Brisbane CBD, and complements the Queensland network. Primary Connect have committed to investing in leading-edge technologies and initiatives for this site, and some represent a first for the business. When you first walk into our DC, the first thing you see is our natural lighting and the clean, modern design.
It doesn't look like any other DC that you've been in before. The natural light, being able to sit at my desk and actually see outside for the day.
There's been a lot of focus put on the site around mental health and well-being. As you walk around the site, you'll notice there is a lot of natural lighting in just about every room, including the bathrooms as well. There is a warm room that provides a nice warm cosy area for those guys that spend time in the freezer facility as well. There's mood lighting to really help our team members. With the current environment with COVID, there's been a lot of thought put into the DC and the design. Some of those things are touchless points for our doors and touchless taps. So the site has a 5-star Green Star rating, boasts over 4,000 solar panels on the roof, which is one of the largest that we've actually rolled out in the network, and will provide 100% power for the site during our peak periods. The site also has a full generator system that is big enough to provide 100% power. So we have a 3.1 million litre catchment tank, and 1 millimetre rain on the roof equals around about 80,000 odd litres. We have weigh-in-motion weigh bridges for the site, both inbound and outbound, which really allows the truck driver to continually move across the weigh bridges in one flowing motion. With the Green Star rating, we've actually incorporated electric car charging points, the infrastructure for down the track to be able to allow electric trucks to come on site as well. And also we have a lithium-ion charging station for all our MHE. So the site has a full cyber security system, one of the first for the network again for this site. And it has a full deny-all firewall. Our BMS system is one of the first in the network. It has full integration that incorporates all our other systems within the one. We have a conveyor system that actually links our business partner Hilton and the meat processing plant, which moves across around about 600 pallets per day and will remove 20 to 25 trucks off our roads every day. The building itself and our equipment is all designed to take 2/3 pallets and really building on that partnership with our stores. Another first for our network is the blast freezing. We have 4 blast freezers on site and we'll also look to export meat, dairy and seafood. Something else very unique for our site is the segregation between our people and machinery and our freezer. We've got a very unique design, our racking, that actually has the pickers pick through a pick tunnel.
We've got the ability to completely separate our order selectors and our forklift operators. So the order selectors will go through the tunnel, while our forklifts will have their own aisle to replan, completely removing that interaction between the two and ensuring our team stays safe.
The other great thing about our site, it really enables us to build diversity.
At HCFDC, we're really working towards that 40 to 60% ratio, so 40% females to males, which is something that we've really worked towards in our leadership group and when we're onboarding our team members.
Right now we're in a tactical solution, so we're actually supporting our New South Wales network during the COVID period, and we've actually started the shed earlier and picking approximately 150,000 cartons per week right now.
When we go into our full system earlier next year, we'll be going to our full Blue Yonder system. So end state, we'll pick 1.1 million cartons a week across chilled and frozen. We'll also cover our Hilton cross-stock meat.
And we'll have approximately 500 to 600 team members on site across the 7 days, 24 hours a day.
It has been absolutely amazing to be on the journey, something that I never thought I'd be a part of, but I'm so glad that I took up the opportunity. So many great rewards to see the team come together and put together what we have today.
How good was that? You're a natural, Mark. Great job in that video. So now we're going to hand over to another Mark. This time we've got Mark Meshkat from our Primary Connect commercialisation team. G'day Mark, how's it going?
Thanks, Sean. Thank you. Mark Meshkat, Head of Commercialisation for International and Warehousing, as Sean's alluded to. Here to really talk about some of the additional services that we've got on offering around Primary Connect, value-added services. Firstly, I'd like to start with our purpose, which is really around the fact that we connect our communities with the products they need and love. Naturally, people and safety continue to be our number one goal. That everyone gets home is really important to us, first and foremost. Future Network, really continuing to invest in the new infrastructure and the wider network to best support our suppliers and our customers. From a business capability, we're naturally investing significantly in our IT and other capabilities. Cost and efficiency is always important for Primary Connect as we look at ways to minimise cost and become as efficient as possible. But the main reason I'm here today is really to talk about our growing our commercial business. We're really looking to grow that service and really support our customers across the supply chain end to end. I'd like to touch base on this component. You probably are familiar with Primary Connect and most familiar with the fact that we've traditionally been a domestic transport. That's been our bread and butter and continues to be our core as well. But we've actually added some additional services. So international services, which encompasses ocean freight, de-stuffing, landside haulage, and also storage, be it co-location, which we're going to touch on today with Heathwood, be it laden capacity or holistic warehousing solutions. And guess what? We're retail agnostic, so we don't mind delivering to our red friends as well. But if I look at it, ultimately, what we want to do is customize a solution that meets your needs. Now, if I use an analogy, we'd love to pick up your products from anywhere around the world, from your manufacturing plant, put it on an ocean vessel in a container, bring it across to Australia or New Zealand, pick it up from the wharf, clear the goods, deliver it into a Primary Connect warehouse, de-stuff that container, then hold it for storage as long as you need, and then deliver that stock into a retailer of your choice. So once again, you may choose part of that or that holistic view. We're here to provide that kind of solution for you. But really, what I want to focus today really specifically on is our Heathwood site. We naturally invested significantly from an infrastructure and technology perspective to provide an end-to-end solution for you. Why? So you can actually focus on your core business. If I pull your eyes to the left of the screen and focusing on our two first customers, which is Sea Farms and Norco. Sea Farms predominantly manufacturing prawns. They've got vast amount of farms in North Queensland, Cardwell, and we essentially have partnered with Sarah and the team where we bring that stock across via Primary Connect into our Heathwood facility. We store those goods in a co-location facility, and then as replenishment need that stock, we essentially pull that stock in. Norco, very similar customer of ours. Michael and team, we've been working with them, predominantly a dairy farmer up in the Lismore region. What we do with the team there is we bring that stock into Heathwood as well. We're going to co-locate it, and what we do is we'll draw upon it as we need it. So those are the kind of solutions that we want to provide, which is more of an end-to-end for our customers. What's the benefit, you may ask? Well, guess what? We cut out some transport legs. We'll also potentially cut out some of that additional storage capability requirement that our customers may need to have before they come into our network, right? So that's really important, and naturally that helps with the speed to market. If you've got short shelf life, which you all do, that helps with that. And guess what? From a score perspective, you get 100% DIFOT. And also, most importantly, we both meet our sustainability targets because we're actually taking trucks off the road. Next, I'd like to touch base on our international network. So we've got a very strong international network and a very mature one. We've not only for this group, but for our customers as well. We ship from right around the world, be it Americas, Europe, but our focus and our core over the first year continues to be Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, and Trans-Tasman. We can see those volumes too. We've essentially delivering into 32 distribution centres across Australia and New Zealand. We have 3 freight forwarding agents, Cargo Services, Coonagarra, and Expeditors. We've also got 678 port pair combinations that we ship from. We have 8 3PLs that across Australia and Tasmania, Australia and New Zealand, in a sense of a landside perspective. For those of you that like to talk in carton numbers, we handle about 120 million cartons annually. And naturally, we need to, we deal with all the major ocean carriers because we ship from around the world. Last year, we shipped 81,000 20-foot equivalent containers. This year, we're projected to do 100. So look, it's a little bit about our international supply chain network. What I'd like to do now is just give you some context. Naturally, we're a small part of the broader Primary Connect business, but I'd like to introduce a couple of people now. Kwong Ko, who is our Supply Chain Solutions Manager. He primarily looks after our international and our landside activities. Matthew Hawke, who is our Warehouse Solutions Manager, and he looks after our warehousing solutions, be it co-location, latent, or 3PL. And me, who I've introduced enough, I think, for today. And I promised I'd give Rodney a bit of a shout out. Please feel free to also reach out to whether it's your account manager or your BD that you deal with every day. Thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of insight into Primary Connect, and I'd like to hand back to Mark.
Thanks, Mark. It's a really exciting future. Can't wait to get involved. Albie is one of our supplier specialists, and Albie will talk us through why it's important to stay compliant with all our supplier standards. Over to you, Albie.
Thanks, Mark. Good morning, everyone. I'm Albie from the Supplier Capability team. Today I'll be run through of Heathwood chilled and frozen DCs, receiving processes, a little bit about on-site safety and why our supply chain standards are important. So our receiving windows at HCF DC run from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. with the last booking available at 3 a.m. With the DC and replan of work together to create hourly capacity. So if you're not going to make these bookings on time, please make sure you ring through to the DC to ensure that they have prior notice of this. Like most of our sites, we have abide by the 60-30 rule, which means you can arrive 60 minutes early and no more than 30 minutes late. Again, if you can't make your booking slot, please give the DC a call and they will be able to assist with that. A really important thing to note as well is with Heathwood DC is that it's rear unload only. So once you drive, a little bit about your safety obligations. Park in the chevron, complete your sign-in via the Sign Pro app. If all the workflows align, then to proceed. site traffic management plan, only allowed to do 20 clockwise direction. Now, again, another very important piece to note is please ensure you follow the dock light safety rules. And if you're unfamiliar with any of this, please ask. So at the point of receipt, driver must surrender their keys to the receipt staff or place them on the door hook. Stay in the igloo where possible. This is to keep the environment as safe as possible to everyone. To keep your trucks turned around in a timely fashion, please ensure that you have the appropriate paperwork for your delivery. That's 2 copies of delivery docket and 2 copies of your SHEP transfer docket or LOSCOM docket. Excessive paperwork, like I've got on the slide here, will just slow things down. If our team need to sort through this, then it will not only affect your truck's turnaround time, but those preceding you on after you. So, team member safety again is paramount on site. They'll be checking for initial presentations of the pallets. If there's any load shift present, collapsed bars, crushed cartons, also ensuring that your pallet wrap is to our supply chain standards. Once satisfied with the quality and the initial temp check has been done, unloading of your trailer will commence. Once the unloading's commenced, the checkers will get in and do their thing. They will be inspecting the pallets more closely for any issues, making sure you've got Australian standard pallets like SHEP or LOSCOM. Wrapping, along with carton integrity, again, crushed cartons. SSCC labels are a very important part of this process, so making sure you have good quality SSCC labels is really important. This is all for ease of receipt as well as to make sure there is minimal errors. To help with any of these, we encourage the use of a pre-dispatch checklist. We'll also be including that in this pack when we send it out to vendors at the end. So once the checking's done, we'll be looking at put away and replan. This is where our wrapping standards and pallet quality come into focus more highly, as plastic dags and tails are a large contributor to fall from heights incidents in our network. When the plastic is cut away from pallets during replenishment, other issues like loose flaps may become noticeable. This is a large contributor to stock loss and damage at the DC as well as back of stores. Now, during the order selection process, carton integrity is very important. This is mostly to keep our team members safe so we can build solid store order pallets during the order selection process. Your products will have other vendors' products placed on and around them, so ensuring your cartons are fit for purpose with good integrity is critical for keeping our order selectors and back of store team members safe. So, again, we'll be sharing this pack with everyone at the end of this, along with any questions that come our way. Up on the screen, I have the contact details for each supplier capability team member in each state. We also have a team inbox, obviously, which is a supplier capability at woolworths.com.au. And if you have any questions or you're unsure about any of this sort of stuff, please email us. We'll be sharing the HCF DC readiness pack after this, as well as any pre-dispatch checklists and contact details you may need.
Thanks, Albie. Great update. So we'll move on to some Q&A now. So just a reminder, if you've got any questions for any of the presenters, send it through by hitting the link in the top corner. So the first question I'll throw to you, Mark. Can suppliers actually come on site and see it in person? And if so, when and how do we go about that?
Yeah, look, I think to be honest, right now, the site's still working through where we are with COVID, so visitors are limited right now. However, that's not to say that we can't do something over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And I think if there's going to be a tour, ideally a small group between 8 to 10 people maximum. But absolutely more than happy to showcase our site.
Okay, excellent. So if you're interested in that, send an email to the Supply Chain Partners email address. We'll share that with all of the information after this presentation. Now, I'll throw to you, Albie, for a question. How many items can I put on a pallet if I don't have a full pallet quantity?
4 items or less. Ensuring you have SSCC labels for all products on front and back, ensuring your pallet is still wrapped clearly. Really important piece of that puzzle is to just also have a nice A5 piece which says mixed code date pallet on it or mixed date pallet.
Excellent, thank you, Albie. Another question for you, Albie. You're getting them all. Can I use ventilated stretch film for products that need to breathe?
Yes, absolutely you can. Yep,
Okay.
100%. We encourage the use of that, especially with soft cheeses and the like. Helps keep airflow in the trailer as well as on site, so it keeps your product at the temperature it needs to arrive at.
Awesome. And just to be clear, there's no use of the string netting. If you use ventilated stretch wrap, please make sure that it's the plastic. Now, back to you, Mark, for the next question. What are some of the sustainability things that have been, or features that have been built into the design of the DC?
Yeah, look, we mentioned a lot of them already in the video, but there's a couple of really good things. The solar on the roof is absolutely a big tick for us, with just over 4,000 solar panels on the roof, more than enough to power the site. And we're still in the process of getting all that connected right now. That's a big tick there. We've got the facility there for electric cars. We've got the infrastructure there for electric trucks down the track as well. And the COVID safe features throughout the entire DC. So touch swipes for all your doors, smart water taps, reduce any water use, those types of things. But look, the list really does go on.
Excellent. Thank you. Over to the other Mark now. Next questions come through. Does Primary Connect offer any services for ambient suppliers?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, we are already doing both services around international and warehousing for ambient, so absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I've got a couple of questions here just on the pallet shortage. So a few suppliers are saying they're still having trouble getting pallets from Shep or Loscombe, and can we accept the use of non-standard pallets? Unfortunately, we can't. We have to ensure that any pallet coming into any of our DCs across the network is an Australian standard Shep or Loscombe pallet. Now, if you are having big issues with getting pallets for your deliveries, send us an email at Supply Chain Partners and we'll put you in touch with some people in our Primary Connect team that might be able to assist with getting some pallets out to you. Next question is on SSCC labels, Albie. So there's a supplier here that isn't sure on how to generate SSCC labels. Can you give them some advice on where to go or how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a program which Matthews offer, which specifically do Woolworths standard quality SSCC labelling. It's a free service that they offer, so you can jump online and create your own SSCC labels, as well as produce crates if that's your side of the business. And again, if you've got any questions or you need any help with testing of these labels, please come through to the Supplier Capability team.
Thank you, Albie. That's a good segue to our next question. Throw to you again, Mark. Is fresh produce going to be in HCFDC?
No, there'll be no fresh produce. It's strictly a chiller environment that runs at 2 degrees and our runs at -23.
Okay. And do we have any idea on when we'll start to transition our freezer products in?
Yeah, yep. So there's a set regime for our freezer. So we've only just finished the construction side of our freezer. So we're currently in the midst of actually bringing it down to temp. I think this morning we're sitting at 16 degrees. So we've got a couple of weeks to go before it actually gets down to the -23. We will start to transition the first lot of freezer just before Easter into the site and commence picking pretty much a week after Easter. That sort of spans out over the next 3 weeks after Easter, 3 to 4 weeks. So week commencing 23rd of the 5th, we'll have the full freezer quantity for Woolworths.
Okay, very good. On the topic of Easter, are we going to be storing our Easter eggs?
No, we won't be this year. At this stage, it's still to continue through our BRDC operation.
Okay, all right. Now that's all the questions that's come through at the moment. Again, if there's any more questions, send them through, and before we wrap up, we'll answer them. If not, just a reminder, we will be sending the Q&A out after the session with all of our questions. So just kind of recapping, we've covered a lot of ground. We've gone through the features of our DC. We've on how Primary Connect will support your needs with transport and warehousing. And Albie's taken us through why it's important to make sure your deliveries are compliant with our supply standards. Now, another question's come through, which we'll jump to before we wrap up. For you, Albie, this is on the use of Score. So how do I get access to Score to view my non-conformances?
Another good question. They all seem to be coming through to me. That's our supply capability team again, guys. Again, the email, if you know anyone in the team, there's Jose, Lester, Brad, myself, Julian. Reach out to one of us. If not, we've got the supply capability at Woolworths. Group email through to us. We'll get you set up, no drama. We run through score how-tos as well to give you a little bit better idea of the capabilities of the tool, some of the reports you can use for your own business and general like that.
Thanks, Albie. Well, that's about everything that we wanted to go through today. Just thanks to all the presenters up here with me sharing the burden. It's been great to have you all up. Remember, we will be sharing the video, the questions and all of the information that we've gone through today. If you have any questions or need any support, don't hesitate to reach out to the team. And thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.